Women have to be so accomplished in so many areas of life.
The people were criticizing her, saying like, you call yourself the GOAT, but you're really not.
And how can I expect myself to be a mom? I can't be a mom. Clearly, I can't do this.
That's just not true. It's a lie. Yeah, he comes, girl, sneakily. Because who I am is not tied to what I do. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to the Hey Girl, Hey podcast. I'm your host, Kay.
And I'm Lori.
You guys, we had... What? I always lose my train of thought.
It's okay.
Alrighty, we're back for another episode. Miss Lori, what is your enchanting thing that happened this past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I have an enchanting one. So we went and saw Lion King on Broadway, actual Broadway in New York City this last week.
That's sick.
When I say we, me and Brandon.
Okay, fun. Yeah. Wait, so was that like in the itinerary already, or how did that come to be?
No, we were spontaneous kings and queens, and we were literally just walking down Times Square, and we saw the big billboards with the Lion King, like, you know, the cartoon lion, and I was like, dang. Okay, so background. I was supposed to go to Hamilton.
No way. Wait, you didn't tell me that.
Oh, really?
Wait, Hamilton is so... You would love that, Lori. And it's like history stuff.
Have you seen Hamilton besides the movie?
No, I only saw the movie. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
My gosh.
I love Hamilton.
Okay,
and,
so you have seen it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I listened to the soundtrack before watching the movie.
Girl.
So I loved it.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
a history buff. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, we were supposed to go and see that on Saturday for my mother-in-law's birthday. So it was supposed to be like me and my sister-in-laws and my mother-in-law. But I was in New York, so that didn't end up happening. So Brandon was like, hey, you know what? You were supposed to go and see Hamilton. That didn't happen. How about I take you to see Lion King?
Why is he just the best?
He is literally the best. But also, I think it was low-key, like, not self-serving, but, like, for him, too, because Lion King is his all-time favorite Disney movie.
Yeah.
And his mom confirmed it, too, because I posted pictures on Instagram, and I said something, like, about how Lion King was Brandon's favorite movie growing up, and she commented, and she's like, yep, Brandon, absolutely, Lion King was his jam.
Who doesn't love Lion King? Like, have you ever heard a human that's like, Lion King is not my favorite movie? Or like...
No.
I know. I feel like it's just such a universal classic.
Yeah, because it makes you feel all the emotions. You laugh, you cry, you like
sing along.
Yeah, exactly. You're amazed, like the colors, the animals, like it's just
it's
best.
So fun.
Yeah, and the messages in Lion King, like
fire.
Yeah, like I love the theme of like how shame can like drive you away and like keep you from living your life. And then, like, once you face that shame, you're freed. And then also, it's, like, not even that deep. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's not even what you think it is.
Like, we built up the shame so much in our head.
Yeah.
Like, the situation. And also, wait, that whole thing, because Scar is the one that kind of drove Simba away.
Yeah.
And made him
feel shame. It was a lie.
Yes. And also, he attacked his identity. Because Simba was supposed to be... He's an
king.
heir.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one true king.
Yes. And that situation that happened, A, it wasn't his fault. And B, he totally twisted it to make it his identity, like an identity issue. And that made him go
away. And he twisted it to say, you're the killer. You killed your dad. But really, it wasn't. It was he killed his dad. So. Yeah.
Dang, that one... deep real quick.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's so true.
I did it again. Sorry. Just kidding.
Childhood Disney movie or trauma dump? I don't know. Just kidding.
So good. No, I cried.
Yeah, I'm glad that you went and saw that. And something about a Broadway play and just like Broadway in general, it's amazing how talented human beings are.
Yeah.
And we're able to be teleported into like this new world for just a little bit, and you get so immersed in it, and people are singing, dancing, the costumes like you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Bro,
the costumes were something else.
Yeah.
Like how creative people are. I would have never thought to like, you know, make the masks like on top of their head, you know?
Yeah.
How it's like the masks aren't like right here in their face, they're like up here.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I loved it.
It is cool. And you still think like, oh yeah, like how you were mentioning like off camera, like, oh, I could tell like that was a cat, and I could tell like, that was an antelope or whatever animal you were saying. And your eye like gets tricked into thinking like, oh wow, no, that really looks like it. It's so cool.
Yeah, because like people want to be entertained. Like, why it doesn't need to be perfect. Like, we don't need to literally have actual animals, zoo animals on screen. Like, it can just be costume. That's like cool, impressionistic.
Yeah, and that's cool. You as an artist can value like another art form, because that is art in a different way. But yeah.
Well,
I'm glad you got to experience that.
Thanks, girl.
That's so fun.
What's your enchanting thing?
Okay, y'all. I've been watching the Olympics. I'm sure the world has too.
Not me, but
well, you've been traveling. That's different.
Yeah. Well, it makes no difference. Even if I wasn't.
Yeah.
I have never watched the Olympics in my life.
Lori, that is a hot take.
I am not a sports girl.
Wow, y'all. Okay, if you resonate with my girl Lori here, please comment below, because I'm actually baffled. You've never seen an Olympics?
No, and people need to back me up. But
I'm like, what? I love the Olympics.
I'm surprised that this takes you by surprise, because like, think back, like when the Super Bowl is going on.
You were right.
When like I can't even think of anything other than the Super Bowl, but all the other sports, whatever the basketball one is.
Sports, the basketball
March
one.
Madness.
Yeah,
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And then like I remember at work, someone came around and like was doing like the Super Bowl like squares or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to buy a square?" And I was like, "No, I don't even watch basketball. I have no idea what's going on." And they're like, "Yeah." But that is just so me every single year. I never learn.
I respect that. But also, yeah, I feel like the Olympics is just such a different category. Like, to me, it's so much more than sports. And it's crazy what sports are considered sports. Like, for instance, yesterday I was watching, I don't even know what it's called, but it was the women's trampoline thing. I apologize to that sport, but it's this big trampoline, and the object, there's like a red square on this trampoline, and these women, these athletes are jumping on the trampoline so high. They're trying to get the most height. That way they can flip in the air and do like acrobatic movements, and they have to stay on the red square. So you have to get height, and each time you land, you have to stay in the red square on the trampoline, and you're doing these crazy tricks, and you're doing like 10 tricks in like 20 seconds. And it's only 20 seconds that you're competing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's so intense. So anyway, I was watching that. I'm like, wow. And then I think it was Great Britain. Their athlete won. And she was so happy that I guess that was their first medal in trampoline. And I'm like, hi, I'm today years old. I had no idea like trampoline was an Olympic sport. But yeah, stuff like that. I'm just like, wow, watching greatness is just so fun to me.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
Yeah. But Simone Biles, I'm sure you guys know like her story. Last Olympics in Tokyo, she ended up pulling herself out because she had something called the twisties, where I guess it's in gymnastics where your mind and your body are in two different places. Okay. And they're almost like working against each other, and it can be dangerous because you see her on her vault. She's like doing her vault. She's like flipping in the air. Then all of a sudden you see her land really hard on her feet, almost on her knees. And and you can see her eyes as she's landing in the slow motion. She's not all the way there. Like her focus is not where it's supposed to be. But when you see her land now, in this year in the Olympics, like she's so focused, like her mind and her body are one. But anyway, so it's called the twisties, where you just get lost in the air and then you literally could land on your neck because you don't know which way is up and down. So she pulled out because she was going through a lot mentally, and she was like, I can literally die. Because Simone Biles, her difficulty is like through the roof, and her execution is like insane. So if her difficulty is at 10, but her execution's like out of 5, she quite literally can snap her neck and die. So she pulled out for that reason. But people were criticizing her, saying like, oh, you're abandoning your team. You know, you call yourself the GOAT, but you're really not. And just being so rude.
Like just the attitude of why didn't you just pull through?
Yeah. And I'm so proud of her for not only obviously coming back, but knowing when to put your needs above everyone else's expectations of you. Yeah. I feel like that story just speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether you like Simone Biles or a fan or not, I just like that sentiment of like, no, I know I can do this, but at the same time, like when I cannot do it, I'm not going to force myself to do it. I'm not going to push through and like buck up because I know my body better than anyone else. And I know my mind better than anyone else. And you see, I think, yeah, her documentary is on Netflix and you see her mom. She like called her mom because the 2020 Olympics, it was just the athletes in the stadium because, you know, pandemic. But yeah, you see her calling her mom and she's like, yeah, you want to just pull out of the competition? She's like, yeah. She goes, I support you all the way. Like, you know best. If you can't do it, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And I love how her mom didn't push her to like,
yeah,
you know, she pushed her to, or she didn't push her. She just told her to, you know, trust your instincts and trust yourself. So I feel like that's an even better message than being like, oh, well, at least I pushed through and like, but for what? Just to get the approval of others.
But for what? Yeah.
Yeah. And now 3 years later, she's healthier. She's more focused. She's at the top of her game. She's literally the best in the world. She won gold all around for herself and for her team. Like she is the best in her sport.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And she took that time for herself to kind of figure out the mental block and come back better physically too. Yeah. So I really admire that. So that's my enchanting thing because I'm like, dang, like what a message. And
that's very inspiring.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah. I like that because it's like, again, I think I've just been really thinking about the scarcity mindset. And like whenever you have the scarcity mindset, it's like, you know, if you have the opportunity to do something now, like I'm not going to take it back to Hamilton. Like I'm not going to throw away my shot. But like if the timing isn't right and like if you are going to like compromise your health and like your values or your anything, you know what I mean? Like if you have to compromise something to like take you down, that will take you down a few notches in health, then it's just like, you know, for what? You know what I mean? And then also like it's not to say that that's like your only shot.
Yep.
Like you can try again.
Like says who?
Says Hamilton. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm screaming, but yeah, we're both saying the same thing.
I don't know. I just like that. Like
no, me too.
Yeah.
And even just like, I think all her other teammates or people that do the sport are in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Or like teens, early 20s, and she's 27. And the fact that she was able to stay healthy and allow herself to take breaks and come back stronger than ever, you know, at the age that she is, I think that's awesome too. Because she could have easily last Olympics been like, oh no, I'm, you know, 24, 23. I should probably hang up, you know. But no, she's like, no, I know I can do it. I just need to take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she ended up winning gold.
So take the break if you need it. If that's in your job, if that's in school, if that's in your relationship or like, you know, whatever.
Yeah. When you're feeling like burnt out or just like not. I feel like when it starts not to become fun anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a better word.
No, I get you.
Yeah,
I think that's a good way of saying it.
Like a chore. I don't know.
Or like whenever it starts to feel like toil.
Yeah, or when you're doing it for others and not yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I think we both. Wait, that is such a good segue.
I know. So a few weeks ago, or like a month ago. Yeah, a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever. Lois texted me, like how we always do. And she's just like, girl, I've been feeling just so like unmotivated and lazy. And I know I should be doing XYZ, whether it's like her art business or editing content on TikTok or even editing this podcast. She's like, I know what I should be doing and I want to do these things. Like I'm passionate about these things, but for some reason I can't. Like I can't bring myself to do it. And when you voice texted me, I was like, what? I'm like, girl, you can do it. I was like trying to be your hype girl.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks ago, like a couple of weeks after that, I was like, man, I think I'm experiencing the same thing. Like my YouTube, I've been talking about it so much.
Yeah.
I have to edit it. I want to edit it. I feel the green light to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I can't do it. And it's not that I don't want to. I do. I just don't have like the oomph to do it. I don't know how else to describe it. And then so I noticed her and I were kind of going through this same thing at the same time. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe there's more to this than I think. Maybe this isn't about laziness. Maybe this is more spiritual than anything.
Right.
And I remember bringing that up to you. And I'm like, I think we're getting spiritually attacked because we feel so passionately about something. We honestly feel like the Lord's hands on it. Yeah. And like the Lord has blessed us with these gifts of being creative, and we can, even in this podcast, like we can, talk about fun things, but also deeper things, and people are able to connect with us. Like I remember we received a DM that was so encouraging, and she was like, man, I've been really struggling with my life transition, and I don't know what to do with my life either. And it's just so nice to know like women like you guys are going through the same thing and like are openly talking about it. So we can have so much purpose and also feel this block of like, ugh, I want to do it, but I feel like I can't. And so I feel like you and I were getting just beat up.
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Like, for sure. And it was so enlightening because I don't know if you like had a church message where he talked about spiritually attacked, but you brought it up. Because whenever I was voice messaging you and like going through that for those few weeks, I just kept saying, man, I am so lazy and I just don't have the motivation, and you know what's wrong with me. And I remember saying, like, I was confiding in you in that voice message because I'm like, hey, like, I pray for me because like I've been doing nothing. And then I remember you voice messaging me back and you were like, wait, Lori, I can't believe that you feel that way because you have done so much. You did this and this and this and this. And then like the way you listed off the things that I had been achieving, I was like, dang, like, well, when you put it that way, I guess I have been productive, but why do I feel like I'm not doing anything, you know? So, but then also like, yes, there were things that I did want to do and I just didn't have like the drive to like just take the steps to do them. Like, you're being spiritually attacked. This isn't you.
Yeah. I feel like how you can tell it's a spiritual attack if it attacks who you are as a person, like your identity, which from the garden, you know, the enemy just always attacks your identity first.
Yeah.
It makes you question yourself and like gaslights you.
Yeah.
Literally, like, you know, you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm just so lazy. I am so lazy. You're taking that as your identity. And I'm like, no, you have done X, Y, Z, and you're doing these things fabulously. And I feel like to recalibrate your brain, you need to see what actually is happening and not listening to that voice in your head of like, man, okay, why do I feel lazy? It's good to ask questions of that, why you feel like that, but also having a friend or somebody you can confide in to remind you, no, you have been productive, and that's just not true. It's a lie. But yeah, he comes, girl, sneakily, because I even get like that too, and Kai has to remind me, like I'll I'm laughing because, man, I feel like this a lot, like frequently. I feel like oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. First of all, who assigned that? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Yeah, the timeline. And Kai will frequently be like, babe, you're an amazing daughter. You're an amazing sister. You're an amazing friend. You're an amazing girlfriend. Even him saying those affirmations, because they confirm my identity. It's like, oh, I don't need to do anything. Me just existing is enough. But again, that kind of ties into what we talked about a few episodes ago of just like you're finding your value in your output and not who you are as a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like whenever you do have those feelings of feeling just unproductive or lazy or whatever, it's good to bring other people in to remind you of who you are and not holding on to that lie, because it is a lie.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. This really just shows like that this really is something that we both struggle with. Because yes, we talked about this a few episodes ago with feeling like our value comes from our productivity and our output. And like, again, like, and I think that this is going to just be like a weakness probably throughout our whole lives, because it's just like, that's where we're weak. You know, even just like putting out one episode of the podcast, or like making one art video, like that's hours and hours of work. But for whatever reason, like for us, we're like, you know, that's just not enough. Like we need 10 of those, and we need it to be here. We need like all these views, and we need blah, blah, blah. And like, again, that's just an outcome orientation. So yeah, that, I don't know. I've been struggling with that. And then I was talking to my sister, and she said that she's a mom, and she says that reminds her a lot of mom guilt. Like you just do so much as a mom. You have to do everything. Like, do you wear like freaking 20 hats? You know what I mean? Like, you're a doctor, a therapist, a nurse, a chauffeur, you know, all the house cleaner. And moms will often feel like just have never done enough, or like they're spent, and then they'll like snap, or they don't spend the quality time with their kids that they want to, but they did spend time with them. It just wasn't like what they think it should be. Yeah. So I think that like for me is like what the delusion is. Like, it's like a delusion, because it's like, you know, we'll be doing these things, like we're doing them, but for some reason I feel like I'm not doing that. Like, it's like the quality isn't what I want it to be.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's so crazy. You're bringing up like outcome driven versus like the process driven.
Yeah.
Like the process driven mind kind of looks at every step as an achievement. Like, wow. You know, when we got together last year, first of all, this podcast is only a year and some months old. We've only been doing this a year. You know what I mean? And I think we've done like 25 audio episodes, somewhere around there. And then by the time this is up, like 8 video episodes. Like, that's incredible. That's crazy. And did you know that most podcasts, like 80% of podcasts fail within the first 3 episodes?
Yeah.
Like, what, Lori? That is such a cool achievement. And the fact that we literally drew this on a napkin a year ago? No, but for real.
Yeah, we did.
Like a year and 6 months ago. And then now we're here and we have like this beautiful studio, and you know how to freaking edit a video. That's amazing. And like, I'm trying to also build like our social media. Like, there's so many accomplishments that we're able to do. And I feel like I've been trying to reorient my mind to be more process driven instead of outcome driven, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it can be discouraging, because you're like, what the heck? I put in all this work and it's been a year and I still don't have like 1 million views on something, you know? And it's like, well, are you doing it just for the outcome, or are you doing it because you love what you're doing, the craft itself?
Yeah.
Kai and I actually were talking about this, but when it comes to like corporate jobs, like some jobs have to be outcome driven because that's how you get paid.
Well, exactly. I feel like that's where a lot of it stems from.
So you and I coming out of corporate world, I'm still in it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so results and performance driven.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter that you were there for 8, 10 hours.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you don't have the outcome.
Literally. And so that's why, oh my gosh, it's so debilitating.
It is. And it is a delusion. And like that was another thing that I was struggling with when I voice messaged you, is I was like, so another thing is that I was down on myself because at this point I had not been working for like a month or something. And so like part of my goals is that I really wanted to work on myself physically and like achieve my physical goals and like tone up more and this and that. And like I had been working out like at home and stuff. And so that's still doing it. That's still the process. But I didn't have the outcome that I thought I should have at a month or, you know, a month and a half.
Yeah.
That I wanted to have. So like it doesn't matter like whenever you feel this way that you're doing the things if you don't have the outcome. So it's like,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I feel like for me, whenever I started to feel like that, I guess we can talk about like how we got out of that mindset. A is being aware of like, okay, I'm feeling unproductive. I'm bringing in my trusted people around me. They're affirming that I am productive, but what's the disconnect? Like, why am I feeling this way? For me, it is nice to make a list of, okay, what have I accomplished? Like 2024, what are we in August? Yeah. What have I accomplished up until this point? And once you start making that list, you're like, you start building up your self-esteem. Yeah. You're like, okay, yes, I can accomplish things and I have accomplished so much. And then also, this might sound simple, but take that pressure off yourself and not expect so much out of yourself. I feel like that's something I need to remind myself too, of not putting myself up to such a high standard, and just give myself more grace, especially if my season looks different. Like what I could do with my body last year,
not the same.
But also that I shouldn't feel shame for that. It's just a different season.
Yeah.
Like just because I was in the gym an hour a day, sometimes 2 hours a day last year, I'm in a completely different season. A, I was working part-time. B, I was training for something.
Yeah.
And C, like, I don't need to be doing that. It's not sustainable. Yeah. So I feel like, and then for you, you're just in a completely different season as well. And although it's good to have goals, I'm not saying just throw your goals away, but how can you achieve things and not hold yourself to like past seasons or things that aren't even in your cadence of life right now?
Right. No, I think that has changed absolutely everything. Like,
yep.
And like, just honestly, I don't know if you relate, but like even bringing it up to you, I was like, Kaylin, like I feel like I am lazy and I'm a scrub. Like that was like almost embarrassing to bring it up to you. But understanding that it was a spiritual attack, it was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not the problem. It's just an attack.
You're like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's why awareness is so key, because you can get beat up spiritually and you feel so depleted. And it's like, dang, maybe it's not laziness that you're feeling, because it definitely isn't. But maybe it's just like I'm spiritually exhausted because I literally have this block that's happening. And it's like no matter what I'm doing, even though I am accomplishing my goals, it's still like I feel a blockage.
Right.
And it's like the enemy just likes to just trick you with those lies. Of like, you can be so productive and then he'll be like, actually, you're lazy just because you're not doing this one thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. But yeah, that's so important to just, hey, even if first of all, if you bring up something and your friend is shaming you or making fun of you, that's not your friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is not your safe space. You know, you're safe people. And I mean, I know my safe people too. And whenever I say something, I'm like, bro, this is so embarrassing, but I need to admit this to you. And yeah, I'm always met with kindness, grace, and people to uplift me in those moments.
Right. And like, it really, I can't emphasize this enough. Like, it was a delusion, because my laziness, let me tell you what that looked like. I would get up, like, let's just say, so I would start my productivity like around 9, like a normal working day.
Yeah.
So I would go into the the office, and I would paint for literally like 10 hours of the day. But in there, I would make breakfast and lunch and dinner for Brandon and I. And I would take the dog on a walk. And I was also doing like a lot of house projects. And I was doing like light workouts. A lot. There was just a lot in there. And like, did I already say the house cleaning? All that stuff.
So preparing your house for fostering, like that in that season, that was a lot of paperwork. Yeah, paperwork.
But I felt lazy because I was like, well, I don't have, 6 paintings completed. I don't have the foster process already completed. Like, just things that are outside of my control that just take time. So, and again, that is the outcome driven portion of things. But I was like, like just everything felt like, if you think of it like glasses to be filled, they can be filled 100%, or like not 100%. So I had like all these glasses, whether that was the fostering thing or like my art or the podcast or investing time into my friendships or my body in the gym. Like it was more like 30%, 40%, 50%. But because none of them were 100%, I was just so upset with myself.
Yeah.
But that's just life,
Amen. Also, that was such a good analogy. I'm like hearing that. I'm like, that's exactly how I feel now.
Yeah. But it's also like tough because I feel like as a woman, that's more of like our life because we have so many different things we have to juggle. And as a woman, you also have to you have to put in there your body. Like if that's your value, like, I mean, you don't have to be in the gym. You don't have to like have that as a value, but like in the society that is pressed on women a lot. But like I was looking at Brandon kind of like almost upset at him because I'm like, dude, all you have to do is wake up and work.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do to succeed. And like I know he does a lot more in his day, but to be successful and productive, he just has to excel at his job. I'm not trying to.
No, I know.
Now
what
I
you
feel
mean.
like I'm embarrassing Brandon, but like, you know what I mean? Like for a woman, it's like we have so many other cups that we need to fill.
Wait, I wonder why that is. That's such a good topic to bring up. Like I think about my sister, like she's a mom. She's also works full time. She also is taking up a baking hobby. She's an amazing cook. She does CrossFit.
Women have to be so accomplished in so many areas of life. And then, another thing I was upset at myself about is I was like, I'm preparing to be a foster mom and also, hopefully have my own biological child. And I'm like, man, let's just say that one day I didn't make dinner because there were days like that or like breakfast or lunch because I was working on my art or like the podcast or like I did invest time in the gym. So a meal was neglected. I was like, man, how can I expect myself to be a mom? I can't be a mom. Clearly I can't do this.
Dude, I relate to you so heavy. I literally had the same conversation with my sister yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. I look at my sister, I'm like, dude, you have so much capacity to do everything. She's like, no, I don't. She's like, I just know what to say no and what to prioritize. And she goes, and half the time, anytime I feel depleted or burnt out, it's because I'm not prioritizing myself.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like that's why I joke around. I'm like, man, I need a hobby. I really do. And, I feel like alone time plays into that too. And not feeling like you have to do something. Like there's so many things on my list that, I want to do it, but also I feel like I have to do it. And when you feel like you have to do something all the time, that's how you get burnt out. So it's nice to kind of escape and do something you want to do, especially with even podcasting or even with your art. Obviously, that's something we want to be doing. We wouldn't be doing it if we didn't want to. But also we don't want it to creep into the, man, I have to do it. Like, okay, Laura, we got to record or else we'll fall behind. Like, we have to do this. Oh, you have your paintings. People are relying on you to produce these paintings. You have to do it. Yeah. If we're not careful, it's that fine line of like, okay, when does this like kind of bring it back to the Simone Biles scenario? Like, when does it become my passion versus
an obligation?
An obligation, yeah. Because then that's when it feels like life sucking, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you feel just like not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then you have analysis paralysis and just like want to lay in bed because you're like, well, what does it matter? Because if I get up and go to the gym or if I get up and work, one of those has to give. So I'm going to fail anyway. Like it just feels like you're set up for failure.
Yeah.
But you're not.
No, because nobody can do everything 100% ever.
Yeah.
Ever, not all the time. And if they are, they either have a village behind them or they have resources to, literally
for sure.
hire people to do that.
For sure.
Like, why is this person's house so clean? Oh, they have a maid, they have a cook, they have a gardener. You know what I mean? And then they're able to have so much capacity to do other things.
Yeah. Delegate.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the couch with Brandon one of those evenings and I think like we wanted to turn on a show and just spend time together, but I felt reluctant. Oh, you're good about doing that.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was down on myself and Brandon, like he asked me what was wrong and I told him, I'm like, babe, I just feel I'm just upset at myself because I didn't do anything today.
Hmm.
And again, like, it's like the absolutes, like, I am lazy, or I didn't do anything, or I never this, or whatever. And then he was like, what are you talking about? You literally did like a commission today, or like a couple. He was telling me like what I did. And I was like, I guess I did. Yeah, I did do that. But I was down on myself because I didn't do those commissions and make breakfast, lunch, and dinner and clean the house and walk the dog and go to the gym and work on the podcast. Like, just so many things, you know?
Yeah, it's unrealistic. There's never, no. Like, what?
Yeah. So even talking with him, like, again, just bringing it up to someone that can help you, like, see things objectively and, like, help you see the realistic expectations are being met. Because I feel like for myself and for a lot of people, we put the unrealistic expectations upon ourselves.
Yeah, same.
Like, that helped me reel it back in. So, like, I don't know. It was funny because, like, right before this episode, like, I knew we were going to talk about this productivity. And I was like, wait a second, I don't like feel that emotional charge towards it anymore because like we have gotten out of it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel better about it.
Yeah. No, same. But I only feel better because we've talked about it
and went through it.
Yeah. Addressed it and also found skills to help us, I guess, make the connection of like, okay, I am productive because I am doing these things, but I also feel productive too and feel replenished and not so like I don't know what the word is, depleted.
Yeah, just looking at like what you have done, and not what hasn't been done, like looking at the glass for being full and not just the space that's empty.
Yeah, so good. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And also reminding myself and echoing what we talked about last few episodes ago is like who I am is not tied to what I do. That's Rue girl. But yeah, I just feel like remembering that is so important.
Oh my gosh. Was Rue screaming on? Did he get captured? Because it's kind of funny.
Okay, Lori, fun question. What's a quirk that you have that maybe before you kind of looked at that and you're like, ugh, I don't like this about myself. But now that you've gotten maybe wiser or just like come more into your own as a woman.
More secure.
Yeah, more secure in yourself. You're like, wait, I actually love this about myself.
Okay. I've been thinking about this as we've been talking and I have different answers for you.
Wait, fun.
Okay, so I think like, I mean, I would describe myself as a kind of quirky person. I definitely have different sides. Like Brandon has helped me to see that in myself because we were talking about spirit animals. Just silly.
Wait, that's fine. What's yours?
I think I'm a peacock.
Yes, you're peacock.
Oh my gosh, yes,
I love it.
I didn't even think about that, dude.
That's
oh my
so
gosh,
fun.
that's so funny. But I think I'm either a peacock or oh my gosh, what did they say? My mom. So we had like 7 hours driving from Indiana to Pennsylvania. So we were going through the spirit animal bios and
cool.
saying who was who. So there were like 3 that we were like, oh, a peacock or a flamingo. And then something else, but I can't remember. Maybe like, I think a ladybug. I don't know.
Wait, cute.
But I don't know which one I am. So it's one of those. And now I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. So, but when we were doing this, Brandon was like, there's just so many sides to you, Lori, that like, it's hard to say you are just like predominantly this. So like, I know that there are many sides of me. But I know that one of those sides is like just being quirky in general. Like you always... It's so annoying when you say I'm Jessica Day.
She is my Jessica Day, y'all.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. First of all,
I'm just kidding.
I think she looks like Zooey Deschanel. Yes, because of the hair. And I love Zooey Deschanel. She's so beautiful.
I just think she's so like... No, I don't know. Wait, now I'm counseling how I was gonna say it, but
no,
I know I have
it.
a quirky side of me, and so I used to like not like that. I used to be like, no, I'm
normal.
Yeah, I'm
corkless.
I am quirkless. I am a corporate girly. Like I am serious, and so I would try to like mask over that.
Yeah.
but why? You know, like
Mhm.
I also don't want to be like just like this serious like corporate,
Yeah.
you know, accountant. So
Yeah.
I've learned to like also appreciate that quirky side of me. And then also one other thing, I started to like get insecure about how like whenever I'm in conversations, we could be talking about the lightest thing and I will flip it into being like,
Oh yeah.
you know, something really deep. Like talking
Lion
about
King?
yes. Yes, like I just can't keep things light, or like it'll be light and then I will take it there. Like it'll be kiddie pool and I'll take it oceans, you know? And I used to get like insecure about that because I'm like, ugh, no one wants to just always be going into the trenches with me. Like, you know, if you want to keep things light and fun and be like a life of a party, you got to keep it up there in the clouds. And so I used to like kind of like throw rocks at myself for that. But now I'm like, no, because that capacity to talk about deep things, like that's why we talk together on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think that that's like whenever my deepest connections are formed with people.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was gonna say, Lori, those two things is what like attracted me to you. No, literally. Like I remember working at our job.
Yeah.
And I met you, and I remember the first thing I noticed about you was your style. I'm like, wait, this girl has such a fun style. Like it's so unique, so fun.
Yeah.
And even though we had a dress code, you were able to just put pieces together that I wouldn't put together in terms of like, you have a unique style where you're like, no, I know these things would look good. And they do look good. I'm like, dang, like she's so cute with her own personal style. And then when it comes to, you know, diving off the deep end, like I remember us just working out together. And then we'd have like a simple conversation, but then all of a sudden we ended up super deep, and that's how we became friends.
Yeah, it was.
Because we both weren't afraid. Maybe at first we were just like, you know, can I trust this person? Or like, how's she going to react to this? And then I just remember like over time us constantly doing that. I'm like, wait, like this is my girl. Like we're constantly jumping into the deep end together, and it's so fun. So yeah, I love those things about you.
Thanks.
And that's what makes you Lori.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Tie that in like that. But like,
way to wrap it up in a bow.
But that is the conclusion. Is like it's like, why dislike things about you that make you you?
Yeah.
But that's also like a catch-22 because if you don't like you, then you're not gonna like those things. So it's just about time with yourself.
Yeah, growing in acceptance and realizing like, oh, maybe God made you that way to connect with certain people.
Yeah.
And that's just how, if he made
and
you
you're perfect
different,
the way you are.
Yes, you're uniquely you. And you don't have to change just because, oh, so-and-so is different than you. Who the heck cares? That's the point of being different. We're all supposed to be different.
Yeah. Just because I don't like Zooey Deschanel doesn't mean Kaylin doesn't mean that she doesn't have a huge following. I do like her. It's just whenever you started describing me as her, I was like, what is that mean?
I did. You're like, no, I have to be unique. I can't be like anyone else.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the other way.
He's so funny.
That is really funny.
All right, well, what's yours?
I'm trying to, oh yeah. I'm going to steal what you originally said. No, I'm kidding. But kind of, sort of. But one of the things, when I was younger, I would cry easily in terms of, it doesn't take much to make me cry. And I've always been like that. Like whether it's
sensitive child.
Yes. Whether
though you seem thick-skinned.
A sensitive queen. Yeah. Thick skin. What is that? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I still don't know what that means. But for so long, I would be like, dang, I hate that. Like, I hate when people make a harmless joke, but I take it so personal.
Yeah.
And I just cry about it, or like hurts my feelings. Like, I wish I could, like, you know, take a joke more or whatever. Mm-hmm. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit better. Yeah. But even sometimes I'll completely miss the joke and be like, wait, what do you mean? And I won't cry, but I completely miss the joke. I'm like, dang it, you know?
Crying inside.
No, literally. I'm like weeping inside. But over the years, as I've grown into the woman I am, I see that the Lord has put that in me to be so sensitive, that can be used in such an amazing way. Like, I'm able to see maybe certain things in others, whether wanting to hide something, I'm able to kind of draw it out, or because they see me so free with how I emote emotion, they're able to come to me and emote their emotion as well. And they're able to feel safe around me because I welcome my emotion now and I can welcome theirs. And I remember one time I was like worshiping in church and I was crying because I was thinking about the song and just like, I was thinking about God. Anyway, so many things I was going through in my head. And then Kai, he like looks at me and he's like, babe, I'm so jealous of you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, the way you're able to cry so freely and so instantly, like you're triggered by a song and you're just crying. He's like, I wish I could cry because he can't cry easy. And I'm like, wow.
And isn't crying a spiritual gift?
Is it?
I feel like I've heard that.
I think,
like not necessarily like actually crying, but like being able to like be emotional.
Comfort. I think it's like, comforting those, showing mercy. I think that's the gift of mercy.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But I think I know where you're getting that. But yeah, being able to like mourn with those who mourn.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, really comfort those. Yeah. Listen.
Like how Jesus wept.
Yes. No, literally, yeah. And I think that's even beautiful that you bring that up. I'm like, man, God cried. God showed emotion. So why do we feel so much shame in showing our emotion? And it's like a protected mechanism too of like,
you want to seem strong. But true strength sometimes is admitting your emotion. Yeah.
And yeah, with Kai, I know. So, and not even just with him, but some people have not felt safe to show those emotions, whether it's in their childhood or just like their circumstances. So I like that about myself now, that I'm able to just be like, I don't care who's in the room. I don't care whatever. And obviously in a corporate environment, emotions aren't welcomed, which is another reason.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, which is another reason why I'm like, oh, this ain't for me. But I don't want to change that about myself.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, just to like fit a certain environment or a certain thing.
You're perfect the way you are.
Thank you, my queen.
So perfect.
You're so perfect. But yeah, I used to hate that part about myself of like, oh, I hate that I'm so sensitive. And honestly, sometimes I still get on myself because of that. Like, I'm like, dang, one day I want to be able to take a joke.
Like, because like literally everything in life has two sides. Like, you know, being strong is great until you're not able to be vulnerable. Yeah. And like being a perfectionist is great because like the outcome is great until you're always down on yourself. You know what I mean? Like everything has like its plus and downside.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't know. That's just life.
Yeah. Like every gift has like the flip side of the coin. Yeah, that's true.
And like, yeah, same here. Like with the ones, what did I name? Freaking being quirky. And then what was the other one?
You said that you don't like how you show emotion on your face.
Oh, I didn't bring that one up.
Oh, sorry. Wait, wasn't that the one you brought up?
No, it was being quirky. Oh, and then taking things like really deep.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Like,
sorry.
I mean, both of those obviously have like their time and place. You know what I mean?
True.
So
yeah, that's very true. But man, but if it's yourself, like, oh, this is how I am naturally, I wish I could just naturally be myself all the time.
Yeah. And
not having to like adjust to the environment. But yeah, like you said, I think that's just life.
Well, I like it.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Cool.
I like you too. All right, y'all. Well, that wraps up this week's episode, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching. Bye.